Hey everybody, we're back. It is October 13th, and we're back in the Ardent offices in Fort Worth, Texas, and we're here just to kind of discuss state of business, state of kind of what's going on in the marketplace that we see, and just have a question and answer kind of session. So, James, what are you seeing in the marketing SEO world right now? What's kind of the trends, or is there anything new that Google has come out with that's important to discuss?
Well, uh, I think as far as it all comes down to content. Content, uh, but there is a ton of content being created right now, and I think what my opinion is that people are pumping out content. They're paying content mills to just put out 500, 750 word blog post and it's 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 messy out there with content, uh, and Google is they're sifting through it, and I think the thing that most people don't do, and they don't do it to the extent that's necessary, is content promotion. Promotion is I think something that can make you stand out from everyone else, uh, because you can only create the best content until next month when somebody outdoes you on the same topic or on the same keyword. And so getting the word out that your information is out there, that's the way people are going to notice you, not just through Google search, but through all the social channels. I saw a GIF that it was from The Simpsons, and basically when I saw it, I just had nothing to do with internet or marketing or anything. But when I saw it, it's it's one of the characters throwing a frisbee in a park to no one, and so I thought, wow. Posting a blog post or a piece of content and not promoting it is like throwing the frisbee to yourself. You gotta throw it, you gotta run, catch it, throw it back, and you're just hoping that Google shows up to play with you. And sometimes, or maybe not in a quick way, Google doesn't show up, and so you have to do your own work to promote, to put it out on the social networks, maybe change it up, say it a different way, so somebody sees it. But I think that's one thing that people aren't doing now. That they're, or at least doing it to the extent that it's necessary, because everything's competitive, everything is hard, and but that little bit can be the tipping point.
Okay, so in that answer, it made me think of Ardent Creative. We're passionate about creativity, passionate about what we do. How, with producing so many blog posts, or people are paying other companies just to spit out blog posts day after day after day. How do we, or how can someone elevate their blog posts in terms of creativity? What are some steps that um, can separate their blogs from others?
Well, this is something that I've worked on for the last couple of years, and because I've seen it online, it's not nothing that I've necessarily invented. It's just I've seen the way things rank, and the way people consume content. Let's say, like with a blog post. Well, your blog, if you're going to be competitive, you're going to have to write at least a 1,500 word blog, uh, and depending on the competition, maybe even more. You have to be make your content complete. Be the Wikipedia page for that piece of content, or that question, or that idea. And so people can learn everything, and then you format it in a way that's easily consumable, easily scrollable with your thumb, and you have the a large font size, images, graphs, bullet points. You make it to where you can jump from paragraph to paragraph, where you're not reading just a glob of text. And uh, Google, when they see somebody going down your page, you know, almost everyone uses Chrome. Google recognizes how far down your page, and you know they don't even need Chrome to do it. Most people have Google Analytics on their site also, but the more engagement, the farther down you go, the easier you make it to consume. Google realizes this is a good piece of content, and so formatting it is just as important, if not even more, than just the number of words, because you could have all the words, all the right words, but if you don't make it consumable, where somebody can read it on their phone, scroll through it, and get um, the best points that they need, the reason they were searching in the first place, you're not going to rank, and you're not going to become an authority that people are going to come back to.
So you mentioned, social media and blog posts, and because of COVID, I know there's been a huge uptick in people consuming content, and whether it's a lot of people on social media, as a lot of us were at home, what do? Watch YouTube videos, Facebook, and more now, I think a lot of people are absorbing video content as well, which would be vlogs or streamers streaming something, crafts. What are you seeing, or what are those analytics and numbers really showing now in the midst of this COVID?
Well, I think you need to figure out where your strength is, and build the foundation off that. Some people are not going to get on video. Some people are not going to. Some people are not writers. It just depends on where is your pillar content going to come from. And so, what most people at least try to do is they try to make the pillar content the blog post, the written blog post, and people should realize that a blog doesn't necessarily need to be an article. A blog can be a page on your site with a YouTube video on it. If video is your strength, or it could be the link to the podcast, and with the bullet points of what you spoke about. If you can create written word, audible, or video, one of those three, then you can build everything else off of that. I see people create a blog post and then create a YouTube video and stick it on top of the blog post of them reading the blog post, or at least explaining it. And so that blog post is now on YouTube. And so that takes up another one of the search results, hopefully, for that question. And also it shows up in YouTube, in the search results. And then you could take that audible content, put it into a podcast that you make off the YouTube video, and then what you do with every point, every the topic sentence of every point you're trying to make that into a tweet. So with every blog post, you could put out 100 different pieces of content from one well-written, well-designed blog post. You could do tweets. You could do images on Pinterest. Everything. You just have to build it out first. If somebody was to write a blog, and you press publish and you put out 3 tweets that day. A tweet lasts about an hour at the most before it's disappeared. So you can put out 3 tweets the day of publish, put out a tweet the next day, and this is all scheduled with software. So it's not something you just have to do it one time, and it'll keep going. But do it the next day, do it 3 days from now, do it a week, do it the following week, do it the following month, do it 3 months down the road, do it 6 months down the road, and then 9 months, and then 12 months, and so that's for one blog post. Well, next week when you write another blog post, you do the same thing. Well, now eventually at the end of the year, whether it's tweets, Facebook post, LinkedIn post, uh, you're going to have a tornado of posts pushing back to your content, and it's all going to be different, and it's all going to be and the thing is, people don't see all your stuff. You're going to catch some people sometime. The algorithm's going to keep some people from seeing it. No one's going to get tired of you, especially if you're putting out good stuff.
So the biggest question we get all the time in sales process or talking to clients is, what is the ROI? And we've had many conversations about ROI and what that looks like. And when it comes to social media, if you're not spending money and paying for ads, it's really hard to track or come up with specific ROI. And when you're doing social media posts or blog posts, a lot of it comes down to the brand and brand awareness. And I think that's what a lot of businesses miss, is thinking, oh, if I do a blog post, it's going to convert into something. It will, but you have to do it over the long term. And so what you're addressing there with, the tweets and then doing these month after month after month, you create the awareness and you become the leader or authority in that niche or area that you want to be the authority over. And so what are some things that you deal with when it comes to the ROI versus brand awareness?
Well, it all depends on the product. Some clients do not have a buy button on their website. They're looking for people to call. They're looking for people to show up at an event. They're not necessarily selling an e-com product that we can track the click from Google all the way to the purchase. The thing is, a lot of social media is top of funnel, and some people they don't have necessarily the time or the finances to count on top of funnel content. Somebody like Gary Vee. Gary Vee sells nothing. He's an agency he has an agency in New York, and he spends 7 figures a year to create content completely top of funnel with no sales intent to it. It's just to build a brand, but that doesn't mean social media is completely devoid of ROI, because you write if you're writing content that answers questions, that pushes people to your answer, which is probably your product, then you have to create that funnel that does that. And that's not just going to be it's not going to be just social media. It's also going to include content, and it's also going to include email and some interaction between the client along with their customer. So it's something that it comes down to strategy, and it's different for every client. And some people are willing to spend the money on just brand awareness, which that will show in the long term. But a lot of people they want a click and they want a sale, and that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending money in advertising and you can track what's actually happening and you can get enough analytics, if you do it for a month, you're not going to have enough data to really know what's working or what's not. Over the course of 3 to 6 months, you start to get a little more data, and you can see, okay, for $1,000 spend, let's say it converted into 20 clients. Of those 20 clients, 5 people bought, and let's say the product is $5,000 each. Well, then you do the math, and that was a pretty good return. But everybody's different. If they were selling an e-com product and it's a $10 product, how many people do you have to get in to cover that product. And so then it becomes a numbers game and a strategy, marketing strategy of how to generate that income or those leads. And that goes back to strong SEO with advertising as well as social media. You mentioned pillars; they're all their own distinct pillars.
Right, because you can take a blog post and, like I said, the guy you can make a YouTube video out of it. Well, you can take every point of the blog and make it into a SlideShare a SlideShare presentation. So that lives on SlideShare, and so then you now have another piece of content that you can put a tweet or a blog post to point to the SlideShare presentation, and you can have a podcast that then you start promoting also. So just one piece of content creates other pieces of content that you can promote also. And so somebody may not be into reading a 3,000 word blog post, but they'll look at your slides that's on SlideShare, or they'll watch you they'll listen to you talk in the background while they play the YouTube video. It's being in every medium for every person, because I do not like to read a 3,000 word blog post, but I'll watch a video, talking about the same thing, and the people are different, and so it's Brad is writing a book right now, and one thing that he could do with his book is with every chapter and every point and subpoint in his outline, those could be tweets, and those could be posts and images that you post on on Instagram or anywhere. Anywhere that takes an image, he could post an image with his point that he's trying to get across in that chapter or in that paragraph, and in just one book, he has 2 to 3 years worth of content. Just if you just take the stuff he's already writing, and so that's something that is no effort whatsoever. It's just copy and paste, and so and programming it into the software, the automation.
So
software.
technically, I should be doing that now.
You should,
because I'm about 15,000 words in with a lot of different points, and between that and then I'm doing a weekly email to the staff, which has a lot of different content in it, and a lot of it's more generated to us, but I think there's snippets out of that could be turned into blog posts or social media pieces, because it's all business related, leadership related, or team. And I think a lot of people out there, as entrepreneurs, business owners, or even employees, can get to where they feel like they're on an island or they're stuck in a situation, and there could be content out there that could be beneficial to them. I mean, there's all types of books and self-help books, and sometimes they're great and sometimes they're not. I didn't read any books until last April of 2019, because being a creative and an artist, visually stimulated, reading business books wasn't the most exciting thing. And then I found Audible at 2 or 2.5 times speed, to where when I'm listening to it, I had to engage with it and really pay attention. And the amount of things I learned was great, but what was also cool, I was encouraged by listening to a lot of these books, is we do a lot of the things that these books spoke about. And so even with me writing this book about creativity, I think it really plays into pretty much every aspect of business. And you talk about digital marketing, there's a huge creative side to that, and I think a lot of your creativity came down to music, right? And that's one of your outlets, and how that creativity can stimulate ideas or campaigns, because you're stimulating that part of your brain, and the more you do it, the more creative you get. And even just rhythms, or a lot of music has so much poetry in it anyway. If you're writing words, I mean, writing and music and acting and all that, it's extremely creative. And I think the more we can tie into that part of the brain, the better our products are going to be, the better our campaigns are going to be, the better the strategy, which then all comes back to ROI. And so the more you see what's around, what your target audience looks like, what they're paying attention to. If your target is a younger age between, let's say, 16 and 30, where should you advertise? Well, probably not Facebook, but TikTok, as it continues to develop, is the biggest place to advertise as that grows. I know they were limited for a long time, but things are starting to open up. But generating viral videos is amazing. I've got a friend who he built this huge game system, not game system, but it almost looks like he's in a spaceship. And he put it out there, and he had like over 1 million hits on it, maybe even 20 million. And so he was walking through the whole thing, and he took this one video and made it into tons of other videos with captions and things to stimulate it. And now he's got over 100,000 followers on TikTok. And he's an entrepreneur that teaches other people about branding and brand awareness. And so it's interesting to see him do that and what kind of traction he got. Is that his target audience? Not necessarily, but it expands his audience, expands his reach. And I think that at the end of the day, that's really what social media is about. And that's kind of how you get the ROI, is expanding your reach, because you never know, a person that may like you may share your post or may like it and it pops up somewhere else, or a video. And I know you've shared a lot of videos with me, and I think the big one, especially when COVID originally hit and the PPP money is coming down the pipe, and there's all these variables. And there was this one guy who I don't think he was huge at the time. You could explain it, but now, I mean, he's huge.
Yeah, he's I mean, his YouTube channel, it's called Meet Kevin. I mean, and he's been on YouTube for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now. But he was just a real estate investment guy. He talked about his real estate stuff, but he also did stocks and just financial stuff. But when he saw this is really somebody striking when the iron's hot. He saw that people had questions about the stimulus plan, and so people were wondering about, are we going to get a check? Are we going to get the PPP loans? How's that all work? So he started talking about. He would go and do the research and find out, what's the law saying, what's the forms I need to fill out, who do I call, where do I go? He started answering those questions, and his videos blew up because he saw the need in the market, and he met the need very well. He's very well done videos explaining in full, and he put out about how much money he's making just off YouTube videos now, and he's making $6,000-7,000 a day, but just because of YouTube views, not counting all his other stuff. And he is an authority in the field now as far as in finance. He talks about stocks also, and he talks about investments and real estate. But he did that this year because he saw that people had questions, and he took the time to read the stacks of legalese and to explain it in regular English. And it helped us. We used that information with our stuff, and and he's being compensated generously for it. And that's the way it's being the go-to person. A lot of people use social media to rant and to you get those people that it's like everything is down, and everything is like oh, it's fall, it's winter, and you're hidden. People hide you when you do stuff like that. People want, you don't have to be fake. In fact, nobody wants fake, but people want to be helped. And there's a guy I heard one time say, and this is in real life, but real life transforms over into online. It just, there's no difference. But every time you see somebody and you look at them and you say, and they look at them and they have a flashing sign on their chest that says, say something good about me. Tell me I'm special. I want to be somebody. And so when you see that and you say something good to them, you're going to change their day. And you're going to, because most people don't do that. Most people don't look at people and say something good, because most people are just concerned about themselves. That's me. I do that. Yeah, I am not somebody who naturally is an encourager. But some people are. But everybody should be. And so I was telling my son, I said, when you see somebody, there's a flashing sign on their chest saying, "Say something good about me, tell me I'm special," and they're just looking for some affirmation. When you do that in real life, you're going to people are gonna like you, and people are going to want to be near you. And when you do that online, and it's different, but it's still positive and it's still encouraging, and it's there's so much negativity out there that we're all a part of. Everybody knows it, and and uh, and so when somebody comes in and says, "Let me help you," let me help you get to where you need to be, and if it's like I said, it's top of funnel social media, there's nothing in it for you. But when they need something, they're going to come back to you because you took the time to help and make them and help them look good in their situation with no return to you. But a lot of people do not have the patience for that, and they want it now, and that but the people who can play the long game are the people the long game doesn't have to be expensive. The long game just has to be patient, and so it's hard. It's not easy doing a successful social media campaign, or being open enough to be honest and be truthful with the people that you're talking to, because you got to tell them, hey, this is going to be hard. You're not going to turn this thing on and be a millionaire tomorrow, or you're not going to your life is not, you buy this, you're going to lose 50 pounds in a week. People who say stuff like that, that's, they get your hopes up unrealistically. But when you can get people's hopes up and then give them a plan to realistically achieve something, that's what differentiates most people online, and those people are the ones who last over the years. I've seen many people come and go, in marketing, but the people who just do the right thing, they're around for the long haul.
So I think that's good. One of the things that we say in the office a lot is that we see ourselves as an extension of our client's business, and that it's that relationship and seeing them grow or them succeed is where we gain our own success. And that's how we've been pretty consistent over the last 15 years since we founded Ardent, is growing and building relationships. And we still have clients from 2005 that we work with today. And so I think when it comes to these things, we're in it for the long haul, is that we're not going anywhere, and we keep a consistent message out there, and our brand is out there, and who we are and the culture that we've created is one of the most important things. And that's just for us. And so, as we close this video out, I would say, as you build out your campaigns, or as you look to grow your companies, what is important to you? What are your values? If you don't have them, you need to dig in and find them, because that is what will drive you to the next level. That's how your employees get behind you. And I think that's one thing we had to learn over the course of our tenure. Probably about 10 years ago is where we really dug in and found that was one of the most important things you can do. And so, again, I'm Brad Ball. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. I'm one of the owners of Ardent Creative, and this is James Canington. He's our digital marketing director. And we're here to just kind of share our insights on what's going on in this environment that we're living in, kind of mid-COVID, depending on how it plays out. And we want to be able to serve our clients, but also those that see these videos. So if you ever have any questions, or if you have comments, reach out to us. You can find us at ardentcreative.com, through social media, and just connect with us.
Yep.